Thank you so much, all of you, and it's really an honor to have you here. I'm going to start with a question to Latonta. And Latonta, I know you've worked with a CDFI in Philadelphia to secure funding for your business. As you mentioned, you experienced some disruption during the pandemic, as did most childcare providers. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience securing funding? And then also, because you do so much technical assistance with other providers, tell us a bit about what you've learned in the course of offering that around the needs that you're seeing in your provider community.
Sure. So working with the reinvestment fund was really easy because they paved the way for providers to set themselves up for success. Strategic planning, having coaches, mentors, and resources readily accessible to help support me in areas where I needed to grow, make revisions to my business plan. Some of my financial structures, they were in place, but they just needed a little bit more strengthening. And my coaches and mentors were able to help me modify things, like some of the platforms and different resources that I was using to help me, like track finances and, make sound decisions on where to invest my money or where to look for and access more funds. They really made that super easy for me. Without that help, without that foundation, like Johanna mentioned, I was doing it all out of pocket, just, struggling and piecing things together to try to support the high quality needs of the families that I was serving. And what I've learned along the way working with the reinvestment fund is you have to be organized, you have to have strategic plans, you have to know your numbers, you have to use actual business financial systems such as ProCare or QuickBooks or maybe even Gusto to help you run business analysis, profit and loss, see where your cash flow is, see where your deficits are, and figure out ways to strengthen those areas that you're weak in as a business owner. For me, I was trying to learn those things on my own, but with their help, I was able to get a much sound understanding of why it was important. Where do we need to modify our budget? How do we negotiate with some of the contractors that we needed to work with and get things like net 30s, not look for money out of my own pocket to always finance up front, but to really practice some solid business practices, which is what I've used to help a lot of the providers in the Philadelphia area. I'm a part of a organization that I help co-found, which is a nonprofit organization to support family providers in business growth strategies, development, reaching high quality expansions, how to get connected with reinvestment funds and other funders in our area. Without these tools, providers struggle and we don't make it. We don't have access to traditional funding like through banks because a lot of times we face a glass ceiling as family providers. We're limited in the number of children we can care for, which limits the amount of revenue we have access to. And as a result, banks don't want to take a risk. And so reinvestment funds make it affordable, they make it easy, they make it accessible, and just helping providers understand that, and also setting up those systems to make sure their businesses meet the criteria on paper to go to a reinvestment fund and say, this is where I am, how can you help me move forward?